What is up, guys? How's it going, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, and ladies and gentlemen, today we have such an awesome video. I am super duper stoked to put this one together. This was actually something that I had asked you guys about over on my Instagram, which, by the way, at Blitzwinger, make sure you guys are following me. But basically, I wanted to go on ahead and get a discussion going about the potential of this Miles Morales game that is coming out later on this year. So, of course, if you guys don't know, Miles Morales Spider-Man will indeed be releasing on the PlayStation 5 later on this year. In fact, the rumor is that it will launch with the PlayStation 5, so it will be the launch game that we will all get to play. But as that game gets ever so closer, there's a lot of little rumors swirling and a lot of discussion about whom are we going to get to fight against as Miles Morales? So that is what this video here is all about. We're going to go on ahead and make some predictions and also, I guess, put together a little bit of a wish list for the top 5 villains that we want to go up against, and I've got another bonus one to throw in there as well. So before we get to the video, of course, as you guys listen to the video and as you see my ideas here and my suggestions, I do want to hear from you guys as well. So down in the comment section below, get busy and type your top 5 villains that you would love to battle against as Miles Morales' version of Spider-Man. Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget, guys, if you like these type of discussion videos here on the channel, hit the thumbs up button. It really does help out a ton. It basically just lets YouTube know that you guys are enjoying this content, and then lets YouTube know that, hey, maybe others should be notified of the fact that they should check out this video as well. So thank you to each and every single one of you guys that has dropped a like. And so with that in mind, let's get rocking and rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, number 1 villain, the most obvious one, is of course the one and only Prowler. So if you guys watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and if you haven't, pause this video. As much as I love you guys watching the video, please pause this video. Go watch Into the Spider-Verse. It is an incredible Spider-Man movie. In fact, arguably the very best Spider-Man movie that we have ever gotten. So go check it out. Now, if you've watched the film, you know that obviously Prowler is a key character in Miles's world. In fact, obviously, even within the comics, it is, spoiler alert, the character of Aaron Davis, aka the uncle of Miles Morales, is actually Prowler. So obviously we have not seen anyone else outside of Miles's family except for his father and his mother in the first Spider-Man game. But I think it'd be really cool if we get a little bit more of a personal story here where a character that maybe Miles kind of starts to gravitate towards. Like, for example, obviously we see that Miles has been almost mentored by Parker to become the next Spider-Man, or to become a Spider-Man as well. But wouldn't it be interesting if throughout the story, suddenly there's a little bit of a wrinkle here, as there's a really close character to Miles whom he trusts as equally as much, if not more, in the form of his uncle, Aaron Davis, who he finds out is actually Prowler. And maybe, just maybe, Miles starts to, maybe not be so heroic. Maybe he starts to lean towards the side of crime, kind of like the Prowler does. But then, obviously, he has a redemption story. So I think that it could make for a really exciting sequence of events if we see at least somewhat of that dichotomy of Miles thinking like, okay, maybe the Prowler is correct, and maybe the Prowler is like somebody that he could like follow his footsteps instead. So I think it'd be kind of interesting, and it could give a really cool dichotomy in the story where you can kind of tease like, ooh, maybe Miles becomes evil for a little while. So I think that that could be a really cool idea and a very, very interesting concept. From there, we're going to move right along to number 2. So this is probably the one that I think is the highest chance of actually happening, and that would be Swarm. So if you've seen the comics for the Spider-Man City at War and just the Spider-Man Gamerverse, basically, they've gone ahead and teased a lot of this particular character. We've seen a full character design for this character of Swarm, and I have to say that he looks quite epic. Now, at the same time, though, I do want to kind of preface this to say that I genuinely don't see him being one of the main villains. I really look at him as more so like Screwball was in the DLCs. So this could be a really great kind of side quest villain, almost like maybe you think of like Screwball or maybe even Taskmaster in the first game, right? Where we look at them as they're obviously villains and they obviously appear within the context of the game, but they're not the main driver or the main villain that you have to battle. In fact, in most scenarios, you don't even have to battle them at all. You can kind of skip through their missions. So I think that this would be a really great optional villain in the context of this game. Give us someone that already looks cool. We've already seen that obviously they've gone ahead and put together this character before, so the idea is there, the design is there, and obviously it makes you think that maybe there were plans to use this character in the first game. However, they didn't actually end up using him, so why not go on ahead and throw him into this title and make him a really cool side quest villain. The next one that I want to discuss is, I think, another one that is very, very obvious, but I also think would make for a really exciting battle, and that would be Rhino. And the reason why I think Rhino makes for a really cool returning villain is just due to several factors. So first of all, in the context of the story, I think this villain makes all the sense in the world. We see in the first game, there's a mission where Miles Morales is trying to escape Rhino. This is prior to him actually getting bit by a radioactive spider and obviously gaining the superpowers of Spider-Man as well. So we see that he's unable to actually put up any type of a fight, and he just simply needs to outsmart Rhino. Now, it would be really cool if now we kind of go into the Miles Morales game and now you have a rematch, but this time Miles has his own set of superpowers. And plus, just think of the idea, the fact that this game is set in the wintertime in New York City, wouldn't it be cool to see Rhino in some sort of more like winterized costume or something? You know, I think that could look really, really cool. Maybe he could have a bit of a different armor, a bit of a different design, just to make him a little bit more unique for this game, so it's not a complete rehash of his design and his suit from the previous game. So I think that would be a really, really cool concept. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. So we are about at a halfway point here, guys. So far, we've taken a look at 3 really, really great villains. We've taken a look at Swarm, Prowler, and Rhino. A great, great roster already, but we've got 2 other massive, massive, massive characters that we're going to discuss. So the first one is going to be Sandman. So similarly to what I was just saying about Rhino, Sandman, I think, makes for a really cool character in the context of the wintertime in New York, because not only do you have all the snow that you're going to be surrounded around with, but imagine the boss fight battle of the epic snow blending in with the sand from Sandman. It would look so visually cool and would make for an epic cinematic battle between Miles and Sandman. Plus, Sandman is a very iconic character in the mythos of Spider-Man in general, and I just think that Sandman, generally speaking, makes for a fantastic villain in video game form. Every other time that Sandman has been used as a villain in a video game, from Lego Marvel superheroes to Shattered Dimensions, he's always been such a fun villain to battle. All his boss fights are always memorable and a ton of fun, and I think that this would be no different. Just from the simple mechanic of maybe Miles figures out that, hey, you could possibly maybe use snowballs in some way, shape, or form to go on ahead and try to clamp up the stand of Sandman to make him easier to hit and things like that, or maybe the fact that the snow could conduct the electricity from his Venom shock. This is me already thinking of design ideas for the boss fight, but I just think that it would be so epic to see Sandman as one of the epic boss fights that we get to play through as Miles Morales. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the #1 character that I wish to see, and I know that this is going to shock everybody, and I know that this is going to be quite probably controversial of a pick. I think some people will say it's never going to happen, but I think that I could make an argument for this being very, very, very likely to happen, and that would be Venom. Yes, you heard me correctly. Venom, I think, will be in this game, and I genuinely do think that Venom will most likely be the big villain. Possibly maybe Norman Osborn involved as well, but I think Venom will be the main villain that you battle. And another prediction is that I think that it would not be surprising to see Miles Morales possibly lose at the end of this game. He possibly gets beaten by Venom, awaiting the return of Parker, or the reunion of Parker and Miles to go on ahead and team up against Venom. So since this game really focuses on Miles Morales, I think it would be really cool if, like I said, we battle some of these other villains, but then Venom appears. And of course, the idea is that Venom is this new menace that is so powerful that neither Parker or Miles can defeat him alone. So it will require them teaming up, taking us into the next game to go on ahead and see those adventures unfold of them battling Venom, battling Norman Osborn, and many of the other rogues that Spider-Man has. So I think that the idea here is that I think that Venom ties into the obviously ending of the last Spider-Man game, where we see that it looks like a symbiote after the post-credit scene. And it seems like it's obvious that the symbiote is existing in this world, and Norman Osborn and Harry Osborn are in some way, shape, or form going to be tied to how the symbiote will interact and such. But I think that it would be so cool to see Venom be this menace that you go up against, and maybe, just maybe, which is something pretty common for Spider-Man, you don't defeat him. Like, maybe you succeed in battling in certain matchups, you do decently, but you don't actually defeat him. And Miles will require the help of Parker, and Parker will require the help of Miles in order to try to put a stop to this brand new menace of Venom. I also think that it would be insane if they have this game and he has an ability called the Venom Shock, and they never touch upon the idea of Venom. So because of that, I know that it sounds cheesy, but I really do think that it wouldn't be even surprising to me if that Venom Shock electric ability is something that is introduced in the battle against Venom, so that maybe it's like the shock and that he unleashes as this new power, and then he basically like titles it the Venom Shock, almost in reference to the fact that it is the ability that he uses in order to defeat Venom. Sounds a little bit cheesy, but I think that that could actually be possible. Now, with that in mind, I do want to go on ahead and hear from you guys. Do you think that there's any chance that Venom will appear in this game? I really genuinely believe that he will be in this game. I know that that might seem like wishful thinking, but I think that one of two things: either he's going to appear in this game in a very, very major way, where, like how I'm saying, where he's actually going to be one of the main, if not the main villain. But if that's not the case, I think that most likely what we will see is a post-credit scene where Venom strikes at the end of the game. So basically it could be something along the lines of, oh, okay, you've just finished the game, you're celebrating, everything like that. Suddenly there's an attack on Miles and we see Venom. So maybe it's like a pan-up shot and it's just Venom right there standing, fade to black, game is over, and now we have to wait for either more DLC or, of course, the next Spider-Man game. That's my prediction. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Let me know if there's any chance of this happening. And in addition to that, let me know what top 5 villains you guys would like to see appear. And for those of you that stuck all the way to the end here, I do want to mention one of the bonus ideas that I had. And this is obviously not an idea that I necessarily had, because a lot of people have been talking about this. And that is the concept of Yuri Watanabe taking on the role of Wraith. I think that that's very likely, but I also kind of almost think that it would make a lot more sense for that to happen most likely in the next Spider-Man game, or Marvel's Spider-Man game, because again, this is being pitched as kind of a, not as full scale of a sequel. So I think that whatever that sequel will be, even if it is Spider-Man Miles Morales 2, I think she could be a good villain then, because I think she could be kind of an interesting character to almost, you know, turn evil now. And now maybe she will go after Spider-Man's kind of sidekick, this new Spider-Man known as Miles Morales. So I think you can make for an interesting pitch there for her to be a villain as well. But I also think that if she were to be a villain, she would probably be one of the side quest villains as well, not in the same limelight as a Rhino or Sandman or Venom, or like one of these more major rogues that Spider-Man has. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Of course, don't forget to leave a like, guys. And also, I do want to mention, if you guys can, please consider supporting the channel by becoming a member of the channel. There's a link in the description as well. For those of you that become members, you do gain exclusive emotes, as well as a badge next to your name that you can use on all the live streams on the channel. Plus, of course, in the comment section, thank you to each and every single one of you guys that has been supporting the channel in such a way. And of course, don't forget, there's other benefits that you get by becoming a member, like being able to join the Discord server, exclusive channels on the Discord server, as well as priority in all sub games that we do here on the channel. Thanks all for watching today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the discussion, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye, everyone.